Good morning, you 13 viewers, and welcome back to the ridge. This morning I'm laying out the piers for the timber frame structure of the house, and as you can see, I've cleared brush and batter boards. I've verified all those because they've been in the ground since November of last year. Yeah, that'll make sense. And squared up some strings and drove the first pins for the exterior frame, and I also drove the pins with the help of a friend for the center lines of the piers. So today I'm laying out each individual pier, driving a stake in, painting it, and when we're ready to do excavation and concrete, I will bring the left arm in here and we'll start augering some 36-inch holes. And after that's done, we will set the rebar cages, and then we will call for the first stage of concrete, and then we will set up our sonotube and then call for the second stage of concrete. And it's kind of detailed because I'm building on a slope, trying to conserve concrete because it's expensive, and also probably going to have to do it by hand. And if you're doing it by hand, it's kind of hard to do a big volume of concrete all at once. So anyway, this will probably be boring, but it's my life, it's what I'm doing, and I know 13 of you are interested in watching because you keep coming back. And let me know what you like, you 13 people. Just put it in the comments. Don't text me. You can if you want, but just put it in the comments so other people can see it. It's kind of helpful. We'll all get smarter, or we'll all get dumber based on a tangent that I start us all on. But that's where we're at, and I'm already sweating like a champ. Although it's not real hot, it's very humid out right now in the first few weeks of June, but I'll show you some things. Here we go. These are from the prints that I made, and I think I've showed you before I like to laminate whatever I'm working on out here, my reference sheets, because it'll rain, or a deer will wander along and piss on things, or, you know, slug might crawl across it. But yeah, I just laminate this stuff, and that way I can beat it around out here. But as you can see, it's got all my critical dimensions. So like I said, I got the batter boards up, which is, you know, what this is, and these are leveled to the elevation of the cornerstone pier, the top of it, or essentially the bottom of the wood structure. And those don't have to be real square. I mean, if you're anal, you can really square them up, but as long as they're braced well, you'll be good to go. And on those, you put your string, and then from your string you square things up and get your accurate dimensions. And then you start laying out other portions of the structure. Mine's pretty simple right now. It'll get more complicated as we go with some other batter boards through there, gauging elevation of piers, because my piers are going to stair step down to save concrete. But once you get it square with string, and you know, these reference marks are personalized to me, and I didn't finish spelling concrete. I know how to spell concrete, but for whatever reason I just didn't add the E, and I didn't finish writing center. But I like to do a saw kerf because that helps lock the string in, and I'll put a screw back here to help anchor things too. But for right now, once it's square on the string, I mark that, and then I cut a kerf, and that's for the outside structure of the house. Like I said, the wood. And then the pier center, there'll be an 8-inch beam. So the concrete centers under that beam, and it's 8-inch beam, came in 4 inches on each one of these. And I just give myself a little bit of memory there on the wood. And then from there, as you can see here, that purple stake is that's designating the outside corner of the wood frame. And then the orange stakes that I'm working on today are marking center of each pier location. So what you want to do, or what I like to do, is I'll establish the corners, and then I'll run a string on the outside So that way, this is scrap 1/2-inch rebar. So that way when I'm laying my stakes in there, I can stay to one side of the string and they're not dancing around. You don't want to try to put it in the middle because the string's in the way. And you also pull all of your measurements off of this established corner. We'll call this what would be the cornerstone of the structure. So you pull all of your measurements off of this corner and you square all of your measurements off of this corner and you keep working down. Something I learned a long time ago is when I'm running a tape measure, unless it's a steel tape, I don't run it all the way out and then just mark it willy-nilly on the tape. A lot of those vinyl tapes and fiberglass tapes, they can stretch and distort based on temperature, but a good steel tape will do you well. And what I will do, I will generally lay out two. If it's a 25-foot tape, these are what, 16 feet, something like that. A little more, a little less. So I'll find center here, run it out the distance of 2 stakes, and then I'll drive those stakes in, and then I'll pull tape here, and I'll move down to that second one I put in the ground, and then I'll do 2 more after that one, and then 2 more after that one, and that helps you keep from growing or shrinking your placement of stakes. And I'll show you another detail of that. So there's the corner reference. And essentially the timber frame has bents that are 2 feet on center, so I just keep striking them down. I know this is boring, but hey, just a documentary. Virtual document, I don't know. My mouth runs. So yeah, so there I've established that's where my last measurement was, my last stake from that line. So I'll start my tape there, and then 1/16, and then I finish up here at 232. And you can verify that when you're done, and all those are, I think it's 8'9", something like that. Yeah, nope, 9'8". Math is tricky. So I have one side established, one straight side of the house established, and I will work everything else out here off of that. Sorry for the vertigo, but yeah, I got a center row of piers and then another outer row of piers. But I'm working everything, once again, off of that corner. It's pretty out here. Here comes the rain again. Thank you, globalist agenda. Just barely touched the string. Trying to be as accurate as I can. It'll get sloppy once we auger holes. But if you pay attention to the minutes and seconds here, you're not going to have the hours at the end of the job. So these would be a little easier to drive in. You'd even be more accurate if you used like a barn spike with a point, but I'm using what I got. We got one more. And it's not about the top of the spike, it's about where it goes in the ground. So when we go to auger these, pull that spike out and set the tip of the auger in that hole left behind, and close is good there. So, all right, now I can verify my last dimension. It shouldn't be too far off. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. So there we go. Right on the money. Center that spike at 232, which is a result of multiplying 9 foot 8 inches twice. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go through and confirm some diagonal measurements for square, but I think I'm pretty good. Okay, I'm going to go out in the middle and confirm some square measurements by measuring diagonally pins to pins. And in my opinion, it's good to verify these measurements out in the middle of the field. I've got what, maybe I'll do 2 of them, 3 of them, and I think I'm pretty good. But here we go. Not too bad. So there we are. I've got all those pins in. Consider this rough work, but it's within about a ½ inch on these diagonals that I've measured in multiple locations. So like I said, I showed you earlier the line marks in the batter boards. So once the concrete's done, like I said, they're 8x8 timbers. So I'll probably do I think I'd spec'd a 12-inch sonotube, but that's cutting it real close and critical. I think I'm gonna go with a little bit larger sonotube in case I need to do some final squaring once the concrete's finished. So I'm gonna give myself some grace there. But these I'll get the little plastic safety caps. I'm not so worried. I'm not as much worried about safety as I am just not seeing these when I'm in here excavating and moving around and laying out stuff. So yeah, I'll get those on there. But I think now, to make people happy, I can go ahead and kind of lay out the floor plan. People always kind of want to know what's happening inside, so I'll do that after I clean up all of this.